Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is KG Live. Please like and subscribe. I sure would appreciate it. So, Shannon Sharpe has had the best YouTube channel for the last year now since he developed Club Shay. One of the most charismatic, one of the most personable, intelligent people that I've heard on television, and him transferring that his likable personality and he has empathy and interest in people that he brings to his interviews on here at Club Shay on YouTube. It's incredible, and he has his latest interview that he did with Katt Williams was the best interview that I've heard in years, and it's specifically for a comedian. If you're a fan of comedy, stand-up comedians in particular, this is probably the best interview since the Actors Studio with Dave Chappelle. When Dave Chappelle, and I forget that guy's name, Will Ferrell made fun of him on Saturday Night Live. It was on like Bravo back in the 90s or early 2000s. It was a thing. If you haven't seen it, I mean, check out the Actors Studio. And Shannon Sharpe is bringing an Actors Studio vibe, but it's not just actor. Well, he's doing the same thing. I mean, he's interviewing actors and comedians, just, famous people who are popular, like the guy on Actors Studio was doing, except it's Shannon Sharpe doing it instead of the Actors Studio guy. And I can't think of his name at the moment. It just popped in my head. But this was an incredible interview with Katt Williams, who to me is the greatest living comedian. He is the greatest living comedian living right now. Katt Williams. He's greater than Chappelle. Fill in the blank, with who else is, underneath that. But he has, Dave Chappelle is a great storyteller. But Katt Williams has got just a hilarious fire. And he dropped some bombs that I was wanting to highlight, because this is an almost a 3-hour interview, and it's because it was so good. I was watching it live a couple days ago, and normally Shannon Sharpe's got a couple thousand viewers when he's doing a live stream of his video. This had over 100,000 people, damn near broke the internet. 100,000 people were watching his interview live with Katt Williams. This is how momentous of an occasion this was, and how beloved and popular that Katt Williams is. And within the last few years, he's really taken the torch from Dave Chappelle. In my heart, I believe Katt Williams has taken the torch from Dave Chappelle as the funniest man alive. And I encourage you to listen to the whole interview. We're not, the few excerpts that I'm going to play were just interesting excerpts. I'm going to talk about he talks about Jonathan Majors and how he believes that he was an industry plant and taken down. And also the same thing about Kevin Hart, that Kevin Hart was an industry plant. And you can tell that Katt Williams is a little bit salty about how some of these other actors and comedians have been skyrocketed to fame, that it's taken him 30, 40 years of his life grinding as a stand-up comedian, and he still never has gotten the recognition that he deserves, is because that he is not a plant, and he stands on his morals, and that he doesn't compromise. And because of that reason, woke Hollywood has overlooked him. And it's very interesting, incredible interview. It's kind of a tearjerker too at times. But here's just the beginning. This is around 2 hours and the 17-minute mark. So this is later in the interview, and then I'll rewind it back a little bit. But I just wanted to start it right here. Katt Williams Unleashed Club Shay.
possible.
What was it like working with Spike Lee doing Priceless?
Spike Lee is everything that you said I was in my intro. He's just really an innovator and a groundbreaking, one-of-a-kind dynamo. And I knew that they were, like, they tried to sabotage me even then. Like, as soon as I said I wanted to get Spike Lee to direct it, because that was the biggest thing I could do, they immediately gave Spike to Gerard Carmichael and had him do his special too at the Comedy Store, and just to undermine, like, but I if there's one thing you can take away from me as a person, whether you like me or you don't, if you take this from me, you will be a better person. If you decide today that you're gonna live every day like it's your last for real, which means have a conversation with yourself every night that, okay, that was it. May not be no more after that. And really count yourself every day like this could have been it. All right, before I go to bed, this could be it. All right, how's that looking? If you can do that, it'll change your life.
And this is why this interview is so incredible, because Katt Williams just drops just such powerful quotes for 2 hours. It's very emotional. And inspiring and revealing too, because here's somebody who is the greatest living comedian on planet Earth that has been in the entertainment industry from the mid-90s to now, and he's seen a lot, and he's sick and tired of what he's seen, but at the same time he's he's confident in where he is, but at the same time, there is a fire in Katt Williams that resonates with a lot of Americans right now, not just with the entertainment industry, but just within our society. And Katt Williams has taken the torch. He's taken the mantle here. And as of now, I watched this live when there was only 100,000 people watching, and this was just like a couple days ago. And no, this happened yesterday, and there's already been 7 million views. So this is by far the most views that Shannon Sharpe's ever received. But let's continue. Let's continue real quick. Stay with me here.
Really start making decisions and living your life like this all you got, just this one day. But you could be a winner. You could be a winner on this day. It's just work ethic. And not the work ethic they talk about. They tell you work ethic where they do all these movies. I'm the hardest working man. Well, no, everybody goes to work every day.
Right.
Yeah. Don't say, I go to work all the time. Everybody who works goes to work every day. Shut up. Shut up. You get, what? You think I respect you more than my gardener? I don't. He work every day. Rain or shine.
I don't know if you saw this, but Taraji P. Henson got extremely emotional the other day. She was giving an interview.
Yes.
And saying that they're vastly underpaid. They say the math is not mathing. They get X amount of dollars by the time Uncle Sam get his cut, by the time the agency get their cut, and what you see they were supposed to get is a fraction of that. Where do you come down on that, Katt?
It was the saddest thing ever, because imagine being in your genre, in your sub-niche, whatever it is. Imagine being in your lane. Imagine being one of the very top of your lane. That to the point where if they don't take you for the role, there's not 3 black actresses that they can say are bigger than you that we're going to give this to. Imagine you being at that point and have to humble yourself and say, they're not paying me, y'all. And they not making my pay go up because I'm doing better or nothing. It don't matter to them that I'm famous and people know me or nothing. They want to pay me exactly what they paying the new girl. And I've been suffering under it for a decade now and just taking it. I just been getting whooped. But I just got to come say, this is wrong. We should be ashamed. But this is a country where we don't pay the teachers, and then we say the kids is the most important thing.
Hello.
You can't have both of them. If you do that, we're going to end up with a generation that can't read. Guess what? Generation Z and A can't read. Why? Because who was giving them a book? We gave them an iPad or a phone, and now the letters don't mean there's no cursive writing.
Right.
Sorry about that. So yeah, this is what period of time it's in. It's the period where the victims get to say, they've been hurting me for a long time. And I just ain't said nothing because I was trying to be strong and I didn't want to shame anybody. When our people call out for help, we gotta understand. You know what I mean? Like we put too much pressure on Tyler Perry.
Well, before he gets into Tyler Perry, but he's talking about the exploitation of black women and how they're the most abused minority in the history of human civilization. And this is just another example of it. A black woman, the height of her craft in her field, being belittled and marginalized and not being paid what she's worth. But now he's about to get into Tyler Perry and Jonathan Majors, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, because that's been so in the news and the media, highly scrutinized here. But all right, let's get to it. What do you think about Tyler Perry and Jonathan Majors, Katt?
You know what I mean? He ain't put nobody on. The people that been in his productions, they not famous. All of them can walk through the mall without security. Be what you gonna be, but put your people on. If you a gay person and you in there, put some other gay people on.
He's hating on Tyler Perry because, they're saying, that's the rumor that he is gay, and the Boondocks, taking it a step further, going back with me about 20 years, the Boondocks comic strip that was in the newspapers became a cartoon, and Katt Williams was a character on that cartoon on Boondocks, which is one of the greatest cartoons of all time. If you haven't seen Boondocks, you need to check that out. But Katt Williams is a pimp. I can't on that show. You can definitely hear his voice when he's in, but he's a pimp in the show. But they did an episode about Tyler Perry and how he has a bunch of gay slaves on the movie set, and he tried to turn Black Grandpa in Boondocks into one of his sex slaves, and he wasn't down for it, which is apparently based on a true story of what it takes to get onto a Tyler Perry movie.
Put somebody on. Or don't be wondering why people keep saying gatekeepers. Because clearly, y'all are keeping these gates.
He's saying gatekeepers, like not gaykeepers. But in a lot of times, in a lot of scrutiny of this, within the last year, seeing this a lot, that to get to these upper echelon levels of society, regardless if it's acting or politics, that you're going to have to do some homosexual activity.
Clearly.
Wilding out. How difficult was it for Nick Cannon to get you on, and what was that experience like?
I've known Nick Cannon since he was a teenager. He had to have his... He in the comedy club, if you're underage, you can't be in the regular club. You had to be in the kitchen.
Right.
So I was the master of the kitchen every comedy place because I got a child, and my child is back here in this place while I go on stage.
Right.
So I've known Nick Cannon since he was 14. Nick Cannon has never called and asked me to do one single thing, and I turned him down, because I've known him since he was a young black child in Hollywood.
Wow.
So what I did in Wildin' Out was to be his protector and to be his voice with hip hop. So the whole thing was, the thing that he was trying to do had never been done before. You can't bring 6 comics in and let 6 comics talk shit about 6 rappers, because the 6 rappers will beat the 6 comics' ass.
Right.
You would have to have a comic that could actually stand in between and go, look, we comics, we gonna say what we gonna say, y'all gonna take it, and understand it's a joke. If you want to fight, we fight before the show. So you can go out there with your black eye. We're not going to do it comedically. This is what needed to take place in order for it to be successful, which is why it had already aired and didn't work. And then suddenly when it comes back with me, it suddenly works. Because respect has to be in there as well. If you trying to do it with Kevin Hart, you and him gonna get run over. You a teenager, he 5'2". Like, what's gonna happen?
Who are some of your favorite young comedians?
So this is another jab at Kevin Hart, and we're going to get to what he was saying earlier about Kevin. Katt's very salty about Kevin. And I hope Club Shay, Shannon Sharpe gets Kevin Hart on here next to hear what he has to say, because I'm going to play another clip later, but that was another jab at Kevin. And you heard him talking about Tyler Perry, about him not putting people on and being gatekeepers, and how there's if you watch the Boondock episode about Tyler Perry, you'll understand more what I'm talking about. But Katt Williams is at the end of the day, I don't want to say just jealous, but it's also frustration, because he has been grinding to where he is the greatest living comedian, but yet he doesn't have half the level of stardom and money, really, as a Tyler Perry, a Kevin Hart. And he's frustrated and he's fed up with it, and so he's come on to Club Shay to vent.
I haven't seen a young comedian I don't like. If you name any of the young comedians, I'm aware of all of them, and they're all doing a great job. It doesn't matter if it's Country Wayne or Desi Banks. It doesn't matter if it's Carlos or Chico. It doesn't matter if it's DC or Just Hilarious. It really doesn't matter once we go to the young part. The young comedians are dealing with things that we never dealt with. And so that gives them more benefits, but it also gives them more chances of failure. So it's not easier for them. So yeah, I'm a big supporter of young comics. We have Miss Pretty Ricky and Takara Williams. I've taken 25 black women on the road in these tours. It's important to me that the young comic gets the benefits and the advantages of the big comics platform.
Matt Rife, Wildin' Out, recently got canceled. You see Jonathan Majors, what he went through. Marvel dropped him as soon as the conviction came out. And you were telling the
Hey, you saw that black woman come get his charge cut in half? Thank you, Megan Good. God bless you, coming to save that slave. If he'd had to be there by himself, he was getting all four. Guilty, 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 guilty. She came in there, was just so beautiful, they had to knock half of it off. Bless.
It's just hilarious. But then that's another thing that people have been saying, is that Jonathan Majors hired Megan Good to be his girlfriend while he's in this public scrutiny in a domestic assault case with a white woman, which obviously, if you've seen the video of him running down the street, who's assaulting who? It's obviously the white woman was assaulting Jonathan Majors because he's a millionaire black man, and that was her meal ticket running away. So she was like, come back so I can ruin your life. And he did. The world that we live in, where lying, evil women are celebrated, promoted, and rewarded for bad behavior, while men are abused. And honestly, this is something that I've read that black men, this has happened with black men for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and where now it's happening to white men a lot too. So it's equality, except for women. I was born in '85, so it's not. We're talking about ancient times or civil rights or whatever. I wasn't alive during that time. But I'm talking about today. It's equality for men, but for women, especially white women, they are not held accountable for anything, and they get away with everything. And yet they complain about equal rights and equality and feminism and all of that. But yet they're the ones ruining lives. And Jonathan Majors is the perfect example. And they get rewarded. Jonathan Majors is the one who got abused, not the white woman.
That's his heart.
Bless his heart.
Matt Wright, you know him from Wild 'N Out. He gets canceled for trying to tell
I never knew him from Wild 'N Out, to be honest.
Okay.
I came across him as a new comic.
Okay.
And I'm really just trying to see the comics, judge where they are, see it. Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
So the canceling, what do you think about this cancel culture? You see the situation with Jonathan Majors. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I don't know if maybe he can bounce back in a couple of years, but man, he was hot. He was hot. He was cooking. I mean, you see him in Creed. He's in the Marvel movies, and then just like that.
Maybe I'm a conspiracy theory, but I thought Katt Williams said any time they make you into that position, part of that contract is you do understand whenever we want to take you down, we can, right? Part of giving you the world. First of all, they went around the world for 2 years straight telling any women that would listen that this was a good-looking Negro. Mm-hmm. Since when? When did y'all start liking a big nose? And when did y'all like a little head and a big jaw? When? Since when? That look like my daddy. When you start liking my daddy? You like black people's features like that? If this ugly nigga is good looking, then all niggas is good looking. Anytime you see them telling you something you can't believe, just understand it's a play.
When he's saying they, it's the media and the government, CIA. That they've been pushing him for years as a plant, promoting him, pushing him internationally.
And it don't matter. You gonna know it's a play as soon as they get in that position and think they gonna tell somebody something. No, you're not. No, you're not. Marvel will cancel you you won't be allowed to read a comic book. What is you talking about? Get out of here. Get out of here, ugly boy. Yeah, they love fooling the people.
What's your relationship like with Suge Knight? You still close with Suge? Have you spoken to him? Have you talked to him recently?
Yeah, it's doing good.
Okay, it's an interesting point. He talks about Suge Knight. I encourage you to watch the rest of the interview, but I'm going to rewind it back to sticking on this point of plants, industry plants. So he just talked about Tyler Perry and Jonathan Majors being a plant, and you got to remember that this guy's been in Hollywood for as a star for like the last 30 years. So this guy knows what he's talking about. So let's see here. And this is, all right, right around, it's kind of close enough. And this is where he's, this is an interesting part where he talks about race and right and wrong. And that, there's not race is not, what do you say? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side or the other side. So, I mean, he drops some just incredible lines here. All right, about 13 minutes in.
Here's how to get your expect. Number one.
Getting a customer here. Stay with me, people.
Hang on that side. They know what it is. They know who the gang is. Why Earthquake not in movies? Because he's illiterate. He can't read. And they found that out when they gave him a show and put the cards in front of him. Like, all of these dudes are co-entwined and they share secrets. And this is the age of truth. And the truth doesn't need to be scared of the fact that people tell lies. Katt's on drugs. Where are the stories? Why is there no story of anybody who ever sold a drug to me, did a drug with me, was around me when I was inebriated? I got 5 daughters. I got 5 sons. Why would we tell these ridiculous stories? Because it's competition. You feel like, well, why comedy guys can't just get along?
Yes.
Why didn't you get along with the other teams you were competing against? If you're a Denver Bronco, why you don't get along with the Cowboys? Something wrong with you?
But I don't disagree. I don't dislike all the Cowboys. Katt, damn, you like this?
No, that's
okay,
not.
what comedians do you like?
Did you play against the team?
Yes.
I've taken 46 comedians with me on the road. 46.
Okay.
I'm not the comedian you can give that to. I only put on comedians that are funnier than me. Anybody that ever told you differently was a fat Faison liar. There's nobody like me in the business.
Faison just caught a stray.
Faison said that getting a Netflix special is easy. I have 12 specials. Guess how many Faison got? 0.
So
why is he allowed to have conversations about real stand-up people? We do not let people who are on the juice discuss real athletes. That's all. As a journalist. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't harbor any resentment to any of these entities because I can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview.
Oh, man,
listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose.
Man, he's talking about the contract that they sign. When it comes to this fame, you get this zombie wife, kind of like a Jackie O with JFK, to where, you know, that they pre-packaged deal.
Talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side.
Boom. Boom. Katt Williams just dropping emotional bombs for 2.5 hours. It's God's side and the other side. And nobody's perfect in this world. But when our whole society glamorizes and basically deifies politicians, actors, you know, celebrities 24/7, that, you know, the line between right and wrong is pretty thin. And, you know, people want to argue, is there a gray, you know, the gray area. I don't know, but it's very interesting. And the Katt's saying that he's against the gray area, that it's either God's side or the other side.
And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. T.G. Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And
so what he's talking about there, he's talking about Puff Daddy. You know, regardless if you're doing wrong, Puff Daddy in the entertainment industry, Tyler Perry in the movie industry, or he said T.D. Jakes, for those of you who don't know who that is. He is one of the America's most famous preachers. He's a black Pentecostal preacher. I believe he's in Dallas or Houston. I've listened to many of his sermons. He's an incredible public speaker, but there's video. I haven't seen the videos. This has just come out within this last week that, TD Jakes and Puff Daddy, there's videos of them in some type of, homosexual orgy parties, and or that he was around with all of this going on. And nobody's perfect, but when you get up there on a pulpit and it's just not a good look for a preacher, or even for a singer for that matter.
And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Gee. I kind of get one here.
Man, Shannon Sharpe here is just so hilarious because he doesn't know how to take this, and this is why Shannon Sharpe is so great. He's just hilarious. Not Kevin Hart. I'm sorry. Oh man, Katt would slap the shit out of me right now. And I'm talking about Katt Williams is just dropping so many bombs here over and over and over again that Shannon Sharpe, look how much of that cognac that he's drank. And this is only with 16 minutes into the conversation here. I mean, he doesn't know how to take it. He's having to take another shot. He's like, maybe you shouldn't drink anymore, Katt. But no, this is just the beginning. From the excerpt that I showed you first, that was from the end of the interview. This is from the beginning.
Right.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
It's just getting started.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, well, why would he get blackballed?
Yeah,
I was gonna ask you that. Because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect.
If you've ever thought about starting your own recruiting business, then I think you're...
Nope. Stick with me here, people. It went right to a commercial. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go.
Knowledge and your secrets. So if you and a man...
You're on it back here.
Can't be jealous. I've never seen them have anything that I ever wanted. If you sign up for their program, you get a light-skinned, weird-faced wife that never do an interview.
Oh, man,
listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Gee. I kind of get one here.
Right.
After that, I don't really kind of know where to go. Let me one more time.
Right.
We good now?
Because the people want to know, well, why would he get blackballed?
Yeah, because
in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing,
You will tell it.
no, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that, I value that, I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I shouldn't know, and they all know it. They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard drug in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script.
And here, Katt is making the distinguish here. He's not going after people, but people have been going after him. And it's because they're jealous of Katt because he's the greatest living comedian. And yet, Katt is mad because there's people who are reaching upper echelons of financial stardom, fame, specifically with Kevin Hart, as he's about to discuss here, and partly that is that Kevin Hart bought the BET Comic View, which I don't believe Kevin Hart was ever on BET Comic View, but he was able to get so much money that he was able to buy it, and the rights to it, to the Comic View, which Katt Williams was on, and that's how Katt Williams became famous originally back in the 90s. For those out there who really were, born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, to watch Comic View, BET, late at night, stand-up comedy was the best thing on television. And that's how Katt Williams got his start. And so he's pissed off that Kevin Hart now owns, BET Comic View when he never was even on it, and that he never really even did stand up, and that Kevin Hart was an industry government plant, as he goes into.
How? That's why I'm saying, that's why I can't let Ricky Smiley say he was supposed to play Money Mike. Because I wrote the words for Money Mike. I designed the hair for Money Mike. I collaborated with the wardrobe department and made outfits to make sure that no one in America would be wearing what Money Mike was wearing. I told them to go get the Prowler. I then told them to paint it purple. I told them don't have an actor playing a pimp. We could get an actual pimp, Archbishop Magic Don Juan, to play. I did far too much work for somebody to come years later and try to tag along just for their own self-aggrandizement.
Why didn't Cube set the record straight? Terry Crews could have set the record straight. Mike Epps could have set the record straight. Why none of them set the record straight?
That's what you were supposed to ask him when he told you those lies that
But I
no
didn't
one's
know it
ever
was a
heard.
lie.
Right, but he's telling you something no one's ever heard of. Nobody has ever heard, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was in a movie and somebody said, y'all should switch roles. This is a business.
But that's the thing, Katt. Normally when people are giving you information, I'm thinking I'm hearing it for the first time and they're giving information no one else knows or has ever heard. So I'm taking them at face value.
These are this is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that think like a man.
Oh my God, he just dropped another bomb. And look at his face. He's like, come on, man. Look at Katt Williams' face right here. This is an atomic bomb he just drops, because I have listened to Steve Harvey for years, specifically on YouTube, that after his talk show that he had, he would talk to the audience, do these motivational speeches after the show was over that they post on YouTube about him being homeless and never giving up. And then here, Katt Williams. I'm sorry, Katt. I keep calling you Kevin. I know that y'all have a beef going on. I keep accidentally calling Katt Kevin, but he's gonna reach through the computer and slap the shit out of me. But if Steve Harvey was lying about his entire life story, oh my God, it's a deception. And that's what Katt's talking about here, is just deception that he's seen for the last 30 years. He's fed up with it. And look at him. Look at his face. It's like, come on, Steve, you just stole his life story. You stole Katt's life story. I mean, that's what Katt's saying. That's what Katt's saying. And you know what's crazy? Within me just doing this video, this video's gone almost up 2 million views in the time that I've done this video. But now stay with me here, people. KG Live, roll with me here.
Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words.
Very powerful. That here's a man who's been out to LA, and so have I. I've been out to LA. And that he's seen, and not only is he calling out Kevin Hart for being a government plant, that he's been promoted and he's had all of this juice and promotion fueling his career, that whoever's been backing him has been backing him for, financial gain. And it shows you that even though Kevin Hart is talented, he's not near as talented as Katt Williams. All you have to do is listen to their stand-up. But Kevin Hart has had some heavy hitter financial backers that Katt Williams has never had. And he's calling him out, that he's all of a sudden, boom, he's at the top, getting the #1 movies, all of these, tours, and he's never done the stand-up circuit out in LA. And I know what I'm talking about, because I went out to LA in 2011 and I was offered a deal by ABC and I turned it down. And Kevin Hart has seen way more than I have ever seen. From bigger stars, the biggest stars. And he knows the reality that we live in a beautiful illusion. Our government owns all of the media companies. Our military, in particular, our military owns all of the media outlets, the ABCs, the CBS, the NBCs. That's why the military, the CIA, they love actors that want to become politicians, because it's all scripted by the same people. They're used to reading from a script. They're actors. We live in a beautiful illusion. Our society, our democracy is a beautiful illusion.
He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
Wow. You know, I don't know if there's an Emmy for. There's not an award. I don't think yet. I don't know if there's a YouTube Awards. I'm not sure. I know you get plaques, and as of now, Shannon Sharpe has 1.6 million subscribers. He's definitely had and he's just started the show within the last year, and it's the best podcast on YouTube, maybe in the world right now. And he has the greatest living comedian on his show right now. And it's just incredible. Like I said, this is probably the best as far as if you're a fan of stand-up comedy and influential historical interviews. This is probably the greatest interview of a stand-up comedian since Dave Chappelle. When he was interviewed by Oprah, you know, for when he went crazy and moved to Africa. So, I mean, this is like 20 years, probably the greatest stand-up comedian interview in about 20 years. By the champ. He snatched the torch out of Dave Chappelle's hands. Dave Chappelle didn't give the torch to Katt Williams. Katt Williams snatched that thing, said, "Ninja, give me that torch." And I think Dave knows that Katt's on another level now. But I encourage you to listen to the whole 3 hours. If you got 3 hours, I appreciate it. If you've listened to me this entire time, me rambling on, I just wanted to highlight a few excerpts from this interview. This is KG Live. Thank you for listening. All right, YouTube. Peace.